Why do we need boundaries in our relationships? We all know someone who oversteps boundaries frequently. Sometimes it's because they don't know that a border existed. We weren't clear about what we view as appropriate and inappropriate behavior. Sometimes the offender knows full well where the lines are drawn and they intentionally keep stepping over them. Speaking of boundaries, what's the definition of the word? Since 1828, Merriam-Webster's dictionary has been telling us what words and phrases mean. Turning to that trusted source for meaning and definition, we find this. Boundary, noun, something that indicates or fixes a limit or extent. That's pretty simple and straightforward. Boundaries are often clearly marked on a map. You can tell where one state, territory, or country ends and another begins. Boundary lines are used to denote ownership of land. You teach your dog where your yard ends and your neighbor's begins, so he'll know to do his business on your neighbor's lawn, not yours. There are also virtual boundaries. Most people know that when they're out in public, they should give strangers their personal space. That boundary can't be seen, but you know the area immediately around someone is their space. There are also boundaries in some relationships, but not all of them. Some people mistakenly keep from establishing clear defined borders with their friends, mates, loved ones, and coworkers. This can lead to lots of chaos and stress, confusion, and hurt feelings. Boundaries are meant to keep the peace. Massive traffic pileups and accidents would be the norm without clearly defined lines on our highways. Painted lines and traffic signs, traffic lights, and blinking roadway signs let you know where you can and can't go. They give you marching orders for safety. You can reach your destination with a lot less stress and anxiety. You'll get there much more quickly than if you didn't have these instructions, borders, and boundaries in place. That's exactly why you need boundaries in your life. Borders, boundaries, and lines in the sand tell people where you end and they begin. They allow you to move through your life with more peace of mind and clarity of action. They lead to healthier relationships and let the people you care about know that you think enough of them to share important limits and borders that define you. Simply put, establishing and enforcing boundaries boosts mental health and wellness. Psychiatrists will tell you that feeling out of control is one of the top complaints by adults in our 21st century. Boundaries give you and others control by clearly defining appropriate and inappropriate behaviors and actions. You owe it to yourself and the people you care about to communicate the boundaries you need so you can give them the best version of yourself. Setting boundaries is a statement that you love and respect yourself. The words of love, joy, and happiness are closely related. Those are feelings we all want to have most of the time. The words stress, anxiety, and depression are also related. Those are things you no doubt want to avoid feeling. To get more of that first group of words and less of the second group, take a look at the boundaries you have in your life. Maybe you don't have any clearly defined limits or borders. A lot of people don't. They have things they like and don't like. There are, of course, values and feelings that differ from one person to the next. If these things are not clearly expressed and shared with the people you love, you can't blame them when they act in some way that oversteps your unstated or undefined boundaries. You need to love and respect yourself enough to share clearly defined boundaries with everyone in your life. Understand that you have a right to feel the way you do. Sometimes we don't like to talk about limitations with the people that we care about. We feel that they might get their feelings hurt. They might misunderstand what we're trying to accomplish, so we keep our voices quiet. We might hint at certain actions or habits that bother us, but we don't have a conversation about them. You may have difficulty setting up borders for your own behavior. You're always running late. Important things don't get accomplished in your life, things that matter to you. Your health isn't the best. All of these things are occurring because you spend every waking moment trying to make other people happy. This is a situation where you need to have a conversation with yourself. Whether you need to establish clear and specific borders with others or with that person looking back at you from the mirror, don't look at this as an act of anger or punishment. It's just you telling yourself that you're worthwhile, you matter. The things you think about are important. Your feelings are of the highest importance. Tell yourself that you're so happy to be the person you are. Have this conversation every day, several times a day. Put a smile on your face and look in the mirror. You have so many reasons to be grateful for your amazing life. You are a unique, once-in-a-lifetime individual, and there's a reason for that. You offer a lot to the world, and you should give yourself much-deserved recognition for that fact. Use that mindset to start establishing healthy boundaries. You need them for yourself and for the others in your life. Communicate effectively. Be very clear and don't be vague. This is a declaration to yourself and others that you have a lot of self-respect. You love yourself and are establishing boundaries that help you become the healthiest, most fulfilled person you possibly can. Some people won't respect your boundaries. That's okay. They're letting you know how they feel about you. Others are going to applaud you standing up for yourself with healthy boundaries, and those are the people you want in your life. The 3 types of boundaries you can set for better mental health and wellness. When you draw a line in the sand and tell people not to cross it, you are clearly making a statement. You're telling people what you consider yours and what you consider not yours. Virtual boundaries can be used to declare your personal space. They can be applied to emotions and finances, relationships, and so much more. If you need a definition, Dr. Henry Cloud says that boundaries are simply the difference between what is yours and what is not yours. He should know what he is talking about. Dr. Cloud literally wrote the book on the subject, Boundaries: When to Say Yes, How to Say No, to Take Control of Your Life. There's a lot of research on the benefits of establishing borders or limits in your life. Here are just a few. Your mental health gets a boost. So do your self-image and self-respect. Communication skills improve. People with boundaries have fewer emotional outbursts. You're less angry. You become a better partner, a better friend, and a better family member. The person who sets boundaries practices more self-care than someone who doesn't. You enjoy less stress and anxiety, as well as more peace of mind. Boundaries help you prioritize your life. You find yourself doing more things that you actually want to do. All those incredible rewards come from simply respecting yourself. You love yourself enough to say, here are my priorities. Here is what I will accept and what I won't accept from myself and others. If you want to enjoy the many benefits of creating healthy borders and limits in your life, there are 3 specific types of boundaries you want to focus on. 1. Mental boundaries. These are your thoughts and opinions, beliefs, needs, and values. 2. Emotional boundaries. Your feelings, decisions, and choices. 3. Physical boundaries. Your personal space. When you discuss an opinion, you're displaying a mental boundary. Your personal space is important. If someone sits on top of your desk, telling them that won't be tolerated is sharing a physical boundary with them. Discussing emotional boundaries with your friends and loved ones shows you respect them enough to desire a healthy relationship with them. Start saying no more often. Prioritize your life before the needs of others who may be taking advantage of you. Sit down with the people you care the most about and share your feelings and values. When your boundaries are respected, you'll enjoy more peace and tranquility, less stress, and healthier relationships. 7 simple tips for creating healthy boundaries. Borders are good things. They let people know what to expect if they go past a certain line, whether that line is physical, virtual, or emotional. That's all boundaries really are. They are borders. They're lines drawn in the sand that let people know exactly what is expected of them and what they'll get from you if they step over those lines. If you want a better relationship with yourself and healthier relationships with others, here are 7 simple tips you can use to start establishing healthy, beneficial boundaries today. 1. Become a better communicator. You have to communicate your needs and feelings, or else how will people know what to expect from you? Communicate your needs with the people that are important to you, and also ask them if there are any borders you've been overstepping. 2. Start off small. Establishing boundaries is about making change. Either you're creating brand new limits you haven't imposed before, or you're tweaking current boundaries. Either way, those changes can be difficult. They can be tough on you and the people in your life. Start small. Don't try to change the world overnight. Then, slowly create more boundaries as needed. Do this on a regular basis, and you can slowly gain control of your life and enjoy healthier relationships. 3. Set borders for yourself, not just others. If your life needs improvement in some way, it's not just others who might be overstepping your borders. You can see massive improvement in the quality of your life when you respect yourself enough to set boundaries for your own habits, actions, and behaviors. 4. Be prepared for pushback. It's going to happen. There is going to be some resistance with your newly established limits. This is normal. You should expect it to happen. By the way, this includes pushback from yourself. You might be trying to establish limits of behavior that you want to start following. Don't be surprised if you find yourself stepping over your own boundaries. 5. Write them down. You're not writing down your boundaries so you can print them out and hand them to people. What this does is makes these limitations important to your subconscious. Read them daily. You might have to tweak them from time to time, and when you do, rewrite them. This is a powerful way to make yourself better at enforcing your boundaries. 6. Get some help. Who do you admire? Maybe you have a friend who always seems to be calm, cool, and collected. Ask her if she can recommend some boundaries you could benefit from. This could be physically or emotionally, in your career or personal life. 7. Review once a year. You wrote down your boundaries earlier, didn't you? Good. Review them once a year. People change and your values might change. This means that it's a good idea to review and possibly change important boundaries you've established. Start today. Put these best practices for establishing healthy boundaries into practice. You owe it to yourself and the people that are important to you. You'll find more emotional control and self-respect. The relationships that are important to you will be healthier and stronger as well. 5 signs you need better boundaries. Setting boundaries has been proven to lead to better mental health. You experience positive emotions like joy, peace of mind, and happiness more often. You stress less. If those are the only benefits you get from setting boundaries in your life, that's a huge win. But how do you know whether or not you need to establish clear borders in your life? Everyone is different, but there are often common signals that you need to establish control and lay down ground rules so you have a better experience. Here are 5 signs you need better boundaries so you can live your best life. 1. You blank too much. When people think of boundaries, they often think about relationships. They're looking outside of themselves. The thought process is, if they can establish borders with the people in their life, their relationships can improve. That's definitely the case. Boundaries can help improve the quality of your relationships. Sometimes, though, you need to set boundaries for yourself. Maybe you have an unhealthy relationship with food. You eat too much. Portion control is a problem. You're eating the wrong things. Your doctor has talked with you, and you know that your dietary habits are unhealthy. Perhaps you're hooked on tobacco and have a hard time putting down the cigarettes. Maybe you rationalize meeting your friends for happy hour every day after work. You know this is just a justification for you to drink every day. In all these cases, this is a clear-cut sign that you need to establish healthier boundaries for yourself. 2. You blame others because you're unhappy. No one is responsible for your happiness but you. If this is the case, you might not be spending enough time on the things or with the people that you value highly. 3. You can't differentiate between your values and those of other people. Boundary time. This is a common problem with a lot of people. Without even realizing what's happening, they adopt the values of others. This can lead to resentment and frustration, lots of stress, and very little happiness. Start setting boundaries that are based on the things that are important to you and not someone else. 4. You resent your friends. This is tough. It might be that you just need to work on your relationships. Then again, maybe your friends need to know they're constantly overstepping boundaries. Have you clearly communicated the boundaries that are important to you? 5. You can't say no. Helping people is nice, but you need to help yourself as well. If you're constantly helping others to the point that you never spend time doing the things that really matter to you, it's time to start setting some boundaries. There are all kinds of warning signs that let you know you could be enjoying a better life experience. These are a few that can help you improve the relationship with the people you care about, and also with yourself.